Hello. So this will be my reflection for Module 6. So our guiding question for this was, when should students adapt to the expectations of my practice? And when should I adapt my practice and expectations to my students? So this module was all about working with students with disabilities. Um, and I believe that you do need to have a set expectations for all your students. All students should be um, expected to follow the same uh, or as close to the same learning objectives uh, as they can. Making sure that they know, first of all, the expectations from them as far as behavior in the classroom, what they're to do, the structure that you have set up in your classroom, as far as come in, be ready to do your work, be ready with your materials, that they know when and how you're allowing them to get up out of their desk to get other materials such as Chromebooks or iPads. Um, And I think all students should have to follow, those structures so that um, no one student feels that they're being singled out or that there's special treatment being given. Um, as far as adapting or practice invitations, as we work with students that have disabilities, we need to work with our special education teachers, making sure that we're aware of what adaptations that they need, being aware of what the IEP uh, that student has requires from us. We do work carefully, uh, closely with parents and the other teachers, and other staff on our site to make sure that we're understanding what that student needs and the objectives that are being set for that student and how we can help them reach them. Uh, Another thing, what experience impacted me the most? This last couple weeks, there's a student in the classroom where I'm at right now that he has an IEP for speech, so he has a trouble expressing what he wants or how he's feeling. So the last maybe 2 or 3 weeks, it's just been really hard. He's been in and out of classroom. He's been in and out to the IRC room where they're giving him one-on-one attention, trying to get him to uh, tell them what's going on. Um, And for this student, most of the time in the classroom, he's good. If you give him time, he eventually get his work done. And he can get he's done work. I've seen him do work, and he can do a lot of the stuff in the classroom. It's just um, when he has those bad days, he's got to work with them and be patient with them. But lately, it's he escalated to the point where he was running in and out of the classroom, slamming the door. Um, So fortunately, they had a social worker on that site going and starting to work with him. So hopefully that gets him the help he needs. Um, so how has my mindset, tool set, and or skill set changed? That's a tough one because I believe for a long time, in the courses I've taken, they've stressed the importance of integrating students with disabilities into our classrooms, and I think that helps us not just as teachers, but it helps them as students um, to see other to be among their peers. I think is important for them, um, to have others not see them as having a disability, to see them as other just their peer, another student in the classroom. Um, Even though they may have different adaptations that they require, or um, different materials that they work with, to get their learning. Um, I think that what I've seen so far in my studies is that when you do integrate these students into the classroom, general education classroom, um, they have more success than when they're being pulled out and they're being singled out or they're not integrated. So I think it's important for us as teachers to know how to work with them, to know the strategies and all the adaptations, the accommodations that we need to provide for those students. Let's see what else. As far as the tool set, I do believe I've learned a bit more. The site where I'm at uses the Wonders curriculum for reading and writing. So that's a lot of there's a lot of adaptations built into that. Um, they're provided, of course, they have a textbook which the kids use to read out of. They have questions in there, but they also provide it online, so the kids can sign in and just the audio text, so they can follow along to the text while you read to while they can hear it. So I think that's important for not just English learners, but or low reading students. And get them that auditory stimulation that they need to start getting those connections in their mind with when they see the word. They know how to pronounce it, and it also provides sentence frames. So, we want students to use academic language in the classroom, and that's provided for them where they can, um, form a complete sentence out of their thoughts by filling in or completing the sentence frame that's provided. We ask a lot of comprehension questions built into it that as teachers we can use. We can stop at a point when we're reading and ask a question about what a word means, why, of course, maybe a word that has multiple meanings, and what meaning it has in the context of that text. Also ask questions about different characters during the story and how they're affecting each other, or how the events of the story are affecting them, and how we see that, and how the author uses descriptive language to show us those feelings in those characters. As far as skill set, I do believe I've grown a lot. Just being in a classroom and being able um, to teach different lessons. It's and I want to say my favorite. One of my favorite things to do, or what I think one of the things that helped me grow the most, was teaching the EOD lessons, English development and reading. Just because I got to see the kind of things that I can do to help those students to kind of pull them out and have them interact with the text and with their peers and with me. So that was, I think, a great experience. Yeah, so I think that's pretty much it for where I feel about that. Just getting that experience has helped me a lot. So I look forward to having more of that. I think the more experience you get doing something, the better you get at it, and the more you know um, how to adapt yourself to the different situations and different students. So that's what I'm looking forward to. So, what additional questions have surfaced for me? Uh, I believe for me, it's just having, when I talked to the special education teacher at my site, she's like, "Oh, well, she had a lot of stuff that she gave me, but it was all on her computer." She's like, "Oh, it's hard for me to show you." So just having that experience of being able to have more time um, working with those teachers that work with those students with disabilities would give you more of an insight, give you more of a better prepare me to work with those students better. You know, I feel that the more we learn about how to teach uh, students with disabilities, the better we're going to be teaching all students, because all students can benefit from the strategies that are in the accommodations adaptations that we use for the students. We may not realize how it helps them, but you know, maybe it does, and we need to be aware of that. And one of the things of UDL is to plan to the edges, go and reaching not just you said don't plan your lessons for that middle student because that middle student doesn't exist, but to try to plan our lessons with all our students in mind and supporting all of them. So I think that's something I need to get better at. Um, so I think that probably be the question for me is how can I better prepare myself to not just use UDL in my lessons, but how to implement it when I'm teaching. Um, sometimes you can write something on paper and you think you're gonna go great, and then something happens and you get off track. And this happened to me a few times, and you kind of have to roll with the punches and uh, figure out a way to get through it. And get your lesson done. So um, I think that's the biggest thing for me. It's just learning to be better prepared and how I can do that, and learning more about how to teach and to implement those adaptations and accommodations in my lessons.